What is it that you want to do getting into real estate? So I have a lot of people reach out to me and ask for guidance. And that's the first question. Do you know exactly what you want to do with it? Because it's so vast. I mean, I can guide you somewhat, but I until I know what you want to do, it's hard for me to guide you properly. I'm so grateful to my mother. Now, when I was younger, it was really hard growing up with her because she was so tough on me to succeed. Now I'm like, thank you, Mother, for everything that you've done, because I have no fear of anything. Oh, I mean, it's my life now. Honestly, I will do real estate until the day I die. Wow. I mean, it's amazing. It's so rewarding.
Hey everyone, it's Tamara Thompson with another episode of Broadcast Your Authority. And I'm super excited for this episode. I reached out to a gal that I actually saw on the Marrying Millions TV show first. And it intrigued me to how intelligent she was, beautiful she was, but how incredible her story is and her journey as basically becoming successful in her own life. And I'm just super excited for Gentille Chhun to be here today. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Tamara.
Yeah,
and thank you for watching.
Yeah. No, I was like, this is cool. Like, I like this show. But thank you again for coming out as we're recording in Vegas and you're here. How long have you been in Vegas?
Oh, 22 years.
So, tell us a little bit. I'd like actually you to tell us a little bit about your backstory, because you originally came here from Cambodia with your mother.
Yes.
And it was a very trying time, traumatic time.
It was. Mom and I escaped the war in Cambodia, and my whole family was executed. So during the regime, and Mom and I escaped here, and we lived off. My mother had a lot of jewelry, so she hid it in her clothing, and we were sent to a Thailand camp for a while. So we survived there by my mom bribing people and stuff, and using the jewelry to buy things. And then we finally got here. And it was really challenging as a kid because my mother didn't speak English and I was too small, obviously. So
how old were you when you got here?
I was like 3 or 4.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Now, my real birth date is a mystery, honestly, because...
What do you celebrate?
Well, I celebrate 2 birthdays. Okay. I know it's interesting, but so I have a lot of Asians that came from war-torn countries have essentially 2 birthdays. Obviously, we use one that's legal because we, got sponsored before coming here. So we had to kind of make up a date that matches with our sponsor. So that's one. That's in January. But I believe my real birth date is in October. But no one really knows, the whole family, because there was so much trauma and, drama during that time that people were just surviving. So people forget. And my mom has already passed. And I asked her about that. I'm like, Mom, how old am I? Do we know? When I was born, she goes, not really. I don't remember the month. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to do my own research to find out. But yeah, no, it was trying times. But here we are. And my mother taught me from a very young age, to be very successful. I mean, she was very hard on me because she wanted the life that she had in Cambodia, because we had to start all over here. So, and this is why, I'm so grateful to my mother. Now, when I was younger, it was really hard growing up with her because she was so tough on me to succeed. So now I'm like, thank you, Mother, for everything that you've done, because I have no fear of anything in this world.
You built that resilience over the years. And,
absolutely.
And I think resilience is one of the biggest things. That's one of the biggest traits that I've learned over the years as well. On that side. And it's incredible of how you've been able to build that, because she instilled you. There was a point, I think I read something about you working like 3 jobs in order to save up to purchase your first home yourself, even by like age 19 or so.
Yes. That is my claim to fame, I suppose.
What were those 3 jobs?
Should I really share?
Now I want to know. I know. Right. I want to know now. Now you have to share.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger.
We all hustle, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So my very first job was Pizza Hut, actually. I was, 17. Pizza Hut was my very first job. And what's the other one?
They give tips.
Okay, maybe I spent a little time stripping as well.
They give tips too.
Yeah.
No shame.
Yeah,
no shame.
And then cocktailing, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. So those 3. But yeah, I saved every single penny, to buy that first house because I knew the value of real estate even then.
Was it in Vegas that you bought the first house?
No, Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Because I believe I read something. So you were in California, Texas, and then Vegas?
And then Vegas, yes. Well, California, Texas, New York City, then Vegas. So I migrated a little bit, And during school, though, my mother kind of sent me to a lot of different states because in high school, I was an American teenager. So I was getting in trouble quite a bit. So she would send me to different states thinking they were my friends that was getting me in trouble. But, at the end of the day, she's like, oh, it's you.
It's you.
Because I'm getting in trouble everywhere I go.
Wow. What brought you to Vegas?
Well, besides a plane, I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
So when I was in New York City, I came out here as a gambler. I was in my early 20s and I was bringing 50 to 70,000 every trip I came to Vegas. And I would win and I came once a month and I stayed for maybe about a week and they would put me up, comps and all that good stuff. And I would win like 50 to 100 grand.
Wow.
Yeah. The mojo is really different when you don't live here.
What were you playing?
Blackjack mainly.
I need to try blackjack tonight.
We need your top 3.
Blackjack.
I can help you.
Okay.
Although I don't count cards or anything, but you just kind of remember a little bit.
Yeah.
Just play the rules and you're actually, you'll win.
Okay.
Sorta.
Okay. I'm going to hold you to that.
Here's what happened. Okay. So, and continue that story. So because I did so well as a visitor to Las Vegas, I met my ex-fiance who was an executive for MGM Mirage and I ended up moving to Las Vegas. And the first 6 months, I said, you know what? I did so well coming here. I think I could be a professional gambler. So girl, first 6 months, lost $250,000.
Wow.
And yeah, that was the end of that career. My ex is like, so you need a job now, huh? I'm like, yeah, I got to go back to working. So that's how I ended up here.
Okay.
I have a question for you about that first moment when that thing hit, the hook set, the bug bit of investing in real estate as this is my solid path out. This is something I can really bank on. What was that moment for you?
Well, that moment was at 19. It really was.
I mean, young, yes.
Yes. I mean, like I said, my mother was very business savvy herself. So she taught me a lot of those things, and so I remember she was pounding all this into me anyways. Like, you are my hope. You are my dream. You have to make it, So she was setting it up to where I had to take care of her, which was fine, right? But that was it. My mother was like, look, work hard, find something that you like to do and stick with it. So that was one thing. And so the real estate thing was, I don't know, I think it was a natural thing that was in me already, that I honestly don't remember exactly where I'm like, this is the way. At 19, I wasn't thinking about, this is the way that I'm going to live my life with real estate. Not necessarily. I just kind of dabbled in it, but I knew that I didn't want to rent at that time. I knew that. I knew the value of renting or buying. So,
well, and it sounds like your intuition played a role. So how have you leaned on that since that moment?
Oh, I mean, it's my life now. Honestly, I wouldn't do anything else. I mean, no, not that I wouldn't do anything else. I will do real estate until the day I die. Wow. I mean, it's amazing. It's so rewarding. If you want to, be your own boss, work your own hours. That goes back to your question too, actually. The defining moment for me too, to say, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it with my whole heart is the fact that I did not want to be an employee. I did not want to work for someone else. And, I'm lazy at times. So I didn't want to have to get up and be someplace.
For those of us that aren't familiar with your story, kind of give us some information on, are you a broker or are you just an investor?
No. So I started as an investor and I decided later on that, I don't have enough money or assets to be able to buy all these things myself. So I became a real estate agent. Okay. That's when I moved here to Las Vegas.
Nice.
And I'm like, and I decided, let me help other people discover the joys of home ownership and kind of guide them through that whole journey.
Nice. Do
Yes.
you only do residential or do you do residential and commercial?
I do residential and commercial,
Nice.
but as far as investments for now, I know residential like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that mainly for now, but I do dabble in commercial as well. And if a good deal comes by, as an investor, it's all about the deal.
Right.
What can you get it for? How much is it going to cost?
What's that
And
ROI?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how much you're going to get after you sell it. That's the main thing. So
Absolutely.
if a property, passes by and it looks good, the numbers, then I'll buy it.
There you go.
I'm curious to know, what have you seen over the last 5 years, just in terms of how much the market has changed?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's changed. The market changes, every 6 months. So the change is incredible, but it's like a cycle. And if you can hang in there in the bad cycle, then you'll be just fine. And that's with everything. And in real estate, it's so vast. You can choose to go into a lot of different fields of real estate: investor, agent, property manager, appraisal, surveyor. There's so many aspects. Rentals. What is it that you want to do getting into real estate? So I have a lot of people reach out to me and, ask for guidance. And that's the first question. Do you know exactly what you want to do with it?
Right.
Because it's so vast. I mean, I can guide you somewhat, but I until I know what you want to do, it's hard for me to guide you properly. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the first challenge for a lot of people anyways, because now I have to explain the whole thing of what real estate is and then have them pick where they want to go into it as.
Well, because I think people see it as very black and white, right? It's either it's either residential or it's commercial. They don't see that there's actually all this gray area in between. So,
Yes.
The education process, I think, might be intimidating for some people.
Yeah.
And so either they stay stagnant or they'll talk to somebody like you.
Absolutely.
So where's a place that people can really just start becoming knowledgeable about this? Because, sometimes it can be really intimidating, overwhelming, really, because you just don't know where to start.
Right.
So what would you say to somebody?
My advice, honestly, is, okay, I guess for the average person, decide if you want to buy or if you want to rent, and that first transaction, that first experience in real estate is what's going to teach you how it works. And they have to decide too, okay, do they want to be a buyer, or do they actually want to be an agent? So that's two separate things. So when I speak to people, I'm like, okay, pick one of those two. Do you want to be a buyer, an investor, or do you want to be just an agent? And then I can guide you that way. So that would be the first thing. But for most people, it'll be that first home buying experience that teaches them. Right. So your agent or the broker that you're dealing with is going to teach you that whole step.
And you started a YouTube channel, right? That you started kind of sharing some tips or information. Is that something that's consistent?
Well, I am co-host of this show here. It's called The Problem Solver. It's not my show, but we talk about just a variety of things.
Information around real estate?
Real estate and, life lessons, just everything. We just throw everything into the mix. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if I can start my own channel. It's a lot of pressure.
You can totally start your
Anybody can.
No, it's too much, planning. And also I'm really bad with commitment to something.
You batch record. That's what we teach all of
Yeah.
our clients.
Okay. Oh, what you're doing. Yeah, no, this is, but there's a lot of planning involved,
Yeah.
It's simplified. You'd be really great at. You'd crush it on YouTube.
You would. You're in a relationship building business, so you would have a rolling guest list of people who would be coming in. I think it's easier than you think.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the people here they're coaches, consultants, and they've been able to build their channels as well. And one part about it is like you could start charging for more consulting because you have all these people reaching out to you and you lead them into this opportunity where you give them this guidance. Maybe it's a web series or a summit. You're on a summit right now.
Yes. Okay.
There's different ways that we could give you advice off camera too, but you can do a lot of stuff.
I thought about monetizing it somehow, but at the end of the day, I decided whoever reaches me or, contacts me, I'm going to help them, with that journey without making money.
More people.
I know I'm so bad with that though.
Oh,
Maybe, if y'all can help me, that would be amazing.
We don't love
I'll
that.
be a guest. Just
Yeah, you got what? 5 guests right here.
yeah.
You got your first 5 episodes.
Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about first, I just want to acknowledge what you went through as a little girl and with your mom, and how solid you are and anti-fragile you are, given a really traumatic experience and leaving your country, and yet here you are. And what would you say to someone who like has this instinct about wanting to get into real estate, but they feel intimidated and that they're letting their fear get in the way of a passion? What would you say to them about how you navigate that?
Wow. That is a loaded question, because
I wasn't trying to set you up.
no. Now you're making me actually think a little. Everyone is different, right?
Yeah.
What is good or successful or to one person may not be for another person. So if someone is interested in doing anything with their life, they're going to take the active initial step in seeking or trying to find that information, right? And that's where some people end up, on my path because they are seeking. I tell people, don't be afraid. If you know what you want in life. So that's the biggest thing for most people, that they don't know what they want to do even. And I have some acquaintances, even in their 30s and 40s and 50s, that's still a little lost.
Yeah, they haven't found what they're really passionate about.
Absolutely,
people
yes.
are lost.
Yeah. So what I've done with some of those individuals that have crossed my path at that time, where they're at a crossroads or they're seeking, then I actually teach them some meditation to get them to figure out what they want in their life. And once they discover that, then you can start working with the universe and asking the universe to bring those things. But it's really hard to wish or hope or pray when you don't know what it is that you're praying for. Yeah. So I just say, just do it, honey. I mean, don't be afraid. Just figure it out.
Real estate is not easy. I thought I wanted to be a realtor until I became a realtor. And I was like, nope, y'all can have that.
Really?
Yes.
You let your license go?
Yeah, well, I transitioned to being a commercial broker, and I was a commercial broker for 5 years. But my passion is always been taxes.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, well, like any job or any profession, I think you have to really focus the first couple years and really do it with your wholeheartedness. 100%. If you're just dabbling here and there, you're not going to be. I think you're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
And a lot of people.
I was very successful. I had development deals everywhere. It wasn't a passion for me.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with your commercial.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're all different in that way too, right?
Yes.
What one person's passionate about may not be for someone else.
That's right. And that's why it's important for people to know that I wanted to be a realtor because I saw all the money that realtors were making.
Right.
And that's the first mistake that people do when they choose their profession. They want to go where the money is, but you have to follow your heart and your passion.
Absolutely. Yeah. But, I guess when we're younger, we just kind of do those things for the money because we need it, right?
Yeah.
Well, we learn it the other way around, right? So we think we have to go after the money and go to where it is instead of really understanding that when you are in a full alignment with your soul and your heart, that's when the money actually comes, and it comes faster and it comes more easily.
Yeah.
Once you find that passion piece of it, like before we started our first company, it was interesting because in my mindset, I was seeing it as a hobby, right? So when YouTube first came out and I started creating video content, I was like, oh, it's just a hobby. I worked in the fitness industry at the time. I was hit by a car and all these things happened. I gained weight. All these things happened, spiraled, that took me out of the fitness industry. But then I realized that I loved video, and I actually went back to filmmaking school in my late 20s. And then started doing all these different things and being asked to do these films and things like that. And then I was like, because my mom for many years, she was like, why don't you go get a career that you're passionate about? She always instilled that in my brother and I. And I was like, oh no, I can't do that. I'm like, I'm just going to go down this road because this job down the street available, it's only 15 minutes away. And so, but once I was able to do that and go on that career path and start a company, It was interesting though, because I didn't want to get a job in the industry in the filmmaking. I wanted to create the job. I wanted to create the career and the path. And then all of a sudden everything just kind of spiraled that way. So it's interesting. Once you see it though, and you know you can make money.
Yes.
Then, then you can make money matter too.
And here you are now.
Exactly.
Yay.
Yay.
I think too the real estate, whether you're a broker or an investor too, is an entrepreneurial pathway. And you have to want to be on that self-generated pathway, that the passion carries you through those parts of it where, a corporate job or whatever, it's a little handed to you, unless you're in the sales org. We'll talk about that later. But, it's like that if there's something you really want to do, like as you've said, you've really followed this instinct and this intuition and this impulse, but you've had a passion for it and you wanted to do it and you wanted to play with it. And there's an entrepreneurial spirit in there, right? Like I want to be my own boss. Yeah.
Oh,
like that's a stake in the ground for a really powerful thing.
Absolutely. And a lot of people also have that fear of success. Yeah. And a lot of people are, they're almost afraid of money. And I have spoken with some friends, very close friends, that I talk to them about, being successful, or what is it that they want to do, or how do they see their life, or what. Now they want all the things that has to do with success, right? Nice car, nice house, whatever, not having to work a lot. But then the other side is they have a fear of it. They're like, well, if I make too much money, then all these issues are going to happen. And I said, well, if you're thinking like that, you're already cursing yourself, honey,
Right.
You'll never get there because you're so afraid. And I think it's just conditioning, maybe.
It's a money mindset too.
Yeah.
Money mindset's the biggest thing. And over the years, as I grew up too, like my mindset's changed dramatically in different scenarios, especially around money. And a lot of people that I've talked to in the past that I surrounded myself with growing up, they still have that mindset, and it's interesting to watch though, because people don't feel like they're deserving of it.
Absolutely. And that's it.
And I'm like, why don't you feel like you deserve to become a millionaire or multimillionaire? Yeah. What is it that's holding you back from the deserving factor of it?
Right. And, society, for the most part, has put that negative stigma on money, right?
Like money is the root of evil.
Yes,
and I was like, that's not true.
Well,
it can allow more opportunities.
And there's generational trauma,
Absolutely.
right? And so, I come from both sides of my family. My grandparents are Holocaust survivors. My sister and I are first generation born here in the United States. And so I inherited a complete money mindset around scarcity and a whole...
You'll be targeted.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was all about blending in, not the jewelry story can totally relate to sewing things into clothing. I mean, my grandparents had to do the same thing. And so my grandparents came to this country with all of this trauma plus all of these stories. And so I'm curious if you've even explored that coming here with your mom, if you've done work on that, or if things have appeared to you or have been passed down that you've really worked through, and what has come out on the other side.
Absolutely. My mother, because of the war, had PTSD. Now, I didn't realize that until I'm older.
Sure.
And I was very, very hard on her, for crying all the time and being so emotional. Now, she was so strong, but she was emotional at the same time. So it was a very conflicted kind of personality for me. So I had to grow up with that. And because I saw my mother being so sad and crying almost every day, talking about the war, I became a person where I became so, strong and stern, and like, oh, you can barely would see me cry. I just now the last couple of years, now that I'm more mature, are starting to get a little emotional with certain things. But I mean, through my whole childhood, I was like,
you fought it.
Yeah. I mean, so yes, I mean, that influence definitely affected me, and I had to really work on it. Like for me now, I think I have a fear of commitment. I don't want to say it, but it's the truth. So I try not to tell myself that. But when I speak to people and they talk about, well, Gentille, why are you not, married or have, kids, or why don't you have a family? You're this and this and this. I said, because I think there's something internal where I do have a fear of commitment with everything that's happened. Yeah. So that's conditioning. So I'm working on it. I went to a shrink, but pay a little bit of money. This is after my last bad relationship, just to figure out, there has to be something wrong with me. I mean, doctor, I need your help here. I need to figure out how to be a normal person, And she's like, after several therapies, she's like, she goes, you're actually normal. She goes, I can't help you. I go, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. There's something wrong with me for sure.
You just need a YouTube channel.
Right.
There it is. Talk about it.
Talk it through.
Talk it out. This will go viral. They said people that start podcasts is using it for therapy.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
We do. We talk through it.
Yeah.
For sure. Right? I have
For
a
sure.
podcast and I talk it through. I mean,
Yeah.
every episode I'm not only talking to my ideal client who really is me too, but I mean, I'm talking to myself. It's, when you verbalize things,
At least
Healing.
Yeah.
when you
Healing.
verbalize it and you share it, the likelihood of the belief and the action that comes out of it goes up exponential. So
Yes.
Yep.
I think we all deserve our own broadcast channel. We've lived a long time being silenced
Okay.
and not being heard.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I think it's time we carve out our own space for our own voices, because not all of us are going to end up on Super Soul Sunday.
Right. Super Soul Sunday.
With Oprah.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's do it.
well, this is it.
This is it.
We're creating it.
We're creating
Yeah.
Super Soul Sunday. Well, do you guys have any last burning questions or on that side? Do you have any last thoughts that you'd like to share with anyone?
No, I think we've covered, just about everything, right?
Well,
Just, find your passion.
yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything, if somebody's looking just to go into real estate and the investing part, what would you say to that person that's just kind of stepping in the space? Like that first thing that you would tell someone, those many people that DM you, that one first question, what would you say to them?
Oh, no, please contact me. I'm very open to, everyone reaching out. Okay. And depends on the DM too. Like a lot of people
what
DM.
would be the best platform for them to reach out to?
Just if you Google me, you can find my direct number. You can text me if you like, email me. But maybe be mindful of the time, because I do get some messages at 2, 3, 4 a.m. sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I do have my very
do not devoted
fans. No, I have my devoted fans that call me every day. But, if you are reaching out to me for real estate questions and help, it would be my pleasure to help. Socially, I get a lot of social calls too because of the show, right? So everyone wants a date. And if you're going to send me, if you're calling me to, want to go out on a date, okay, you have to attach your photo, please. A little bit of a resume.
Your resume.
Would be great.
Resume,
Just a short resume, please. But do not call me every day, because I won't get the message anyways.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
It wouldn't be you gals.
But if we DM you or text you at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, because it's important.
We're legit.
Right. We're legit. We're the next view.
No, my phone goes off all the time, but obviously I don't answer all of it, but I see everything, so it's fine. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you for joining us today. And those of you that are watching this show, definitely connect with Gentille and anywhere. Just don't text her at 2 a.m., okay? And we look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.